Munchkins and viewers alike, it's me, Munchie, and I have a story to tell you. Get ready. It's not hamster related, it's, you see that little thing right there? And now my other dog is jealous. Oh no. Oh no. What is happening? Oh no. Once upon a time, there was a girl and a man that traveled with their companion Minty down to Arizona from Washington State for a 24-hour down, 25-hour up car ride with no hotel stops and yeah, that was fun. Anyways, so let's just fast forward. We're driving through Utah on the way down. Not on the way back, but on the way down. And we pass by the border between, between Utah and Arizona. When we approached, because I was driving at the time, I saw on the left side of the road a billboard, but what caught my eye was something black that was in the road, and also there was a red pickup truck. And so I didn't know what was happening because as I got closer, I saw a little dog running across the road that was a puppy. It's about this thing. We are pulling over, or at least I'm pulling over. My partner's like, what are you doing? We can't pull over here. And I'm all like, we're pulling over. And so I slowed down. The truck behind me kind of pulls next to me. I roll down my window. I'm like, hey, is that your dog? Are you trying to catch your dog? And they said it's not their dog, but they attempted to catch it, but the dog just wouldn't come up to them. So they gave up, and I said that I would try. So I did a U-turn, pulled in to kind of a rest stop that is in front of the Utah sign. And I see the puppy, because I know it's a puppy. It's too small to be anything else. But I saw the puppy running through the desert and over a barbed wire fence. And so I was like, I am not leaving a dog in 100-degree weather between Arizona and Utah. It was insanely hot. Now, that's not as hot as it can get, and we actually went before it got even hotter because, of course, it's entering the summertime. This was before June. I was like, I'm grabbing Minty, so I have Minty in my arms, and I'm like trying to jump over a fence. Thankfully, the fence dipped in a section, so I was able to gently cross the barbed wire fence onto the other side, and that's my necklace. That is my necklace. What are you doing? What are you doing? I sound like Miss Piggy when I do this. What are you doing? Kirby! I hop over the barbed wire fence, and I'm trying to not scare the dog, because the dog, even though I was talking to it, it was wagging its tail. It was freaked out. It was panting severely. It's a black puppy. Minty had her collar on and it was making noise, so I silenced her collar as I was approaching, hoping that maybe the dog would be attracted by my dog. Unfortunately, that was not the case. However, in the past, I've done that, and I was able to catch a loose dog named Tiger, and I was able to reunite it with its owner once I dropped it off at the regional shelter because it had a rabies tag on it, and so they were able to look up the owner. Didn't help this situation here, but I decided to approach gingerly, and the dog looked like an awful mess. So what I ended up doing was trying my best to get as close as comfortable several times. I decided to just go down very quickly because you don't want the dog running away, because she was really tired. She was panting and everything. And I grabbed her by the scruff and she kind of gave a little yelp, unfortunately, but I just want to make sure she wasn't going anywhere. And she tinkled on my right leg, but that was okay because I wanted to make sure she was out in the desert. It was hot. It was terrible. She was clearly really skinny. You could see her ribs. I mean, you can still see part of her ribs now, but we are trying to fatten her up. She's just been having a big growth spurt when it comes to the legs. But I actually made this video right after we caught her. Hello, my name is Jessica. I am traveling from Washington to Arizona. We are just crossing over into Arizona and we saw a black puppy run across the road. We saw a truck that tried to stop and catch it and they couldn't, so they drove away, and I said that I would. And let me show you where exactly. That's basically where. And this dog is a black puppy right here. Took me forever to catch. I put my dog's collar on and I've got my dog over here. I just want this poor puppy to drink some water, but
I have a weird feeling like someone just abandoned this dog. It's healthy otherwise, but just, God, how long has it been? I have no idea. I don't even know what gender it is. We haven't checked, but we need to be driving, so I'm gonna continue driving. But, oh, this poor puppy. Oh my God. I was not gonna leave a dog out in bumfuck nowhere with a bunch of cars. He could have got hit, or she could have got hit. Anyways, yeah, just wanted to make this video because sometimes people just don't believe shit like this. And I mean, I always said to myself, oh, maybe one day there will be an animal that walks across my path that I will help. And apparently that's today with this one. So it's not the first time either, but this one was scary because if we weren't in the place that we were in, I mean, we could have missed you. With all those stops. We've just been traveling nonstop. So, yeah. Trying to get to Arizona within 24 hours is kind of hard. So, yeah. We'll take care of the puppy for now. Maybe updates in the future if I post this online. So, peace.
So after that, we actually discovered that she was a girl. It wasn't until we got to our destination in Arizona, and this is South Arizona, because we went from the border all the way to almost the border of Mexico. But anyways, we went all the way down south to our location to visit family. And so when we got there, we discovered she was a girl. And I was like, I knew she was a girl. Right now she has a blue collar on because that's the only collar that we had at the time, because our family has a little dog named Doodlebug, and it is a boy. So they gave us his old collar, which was very nice of them. And when I was in the car ride, I made sure to secure her using Minty's collar, but then afterwards I found out that Minty's vest actually fit her. She's growing very quickly. I want to say she's estimated around 3 months and going into the 4th month, because yeah, she has such a big growth spurt all of a sudden. But when I saw her, I thought she had a very narrow snout. She has pointy ears, and I was like, okay, she has to be part German Shepherd somewhere. But then I thought, well, you know, her face doesn't look too much like my German Shepherd. I know there's black German Shepherds out there, but Belgian Malinois is what I was thinking maybe she's part of, because she has such big paws and some really long lengthy legs, and her tail. I mean, I was like, maybe it's a possibility, especially since her face doesn't fully resemble a German Shepherd. German Shepherds, they can have narrow snouts, they can have kind of like that muzzle, you know, I don't know how else to describe it other than don't chew on the She is a mess. But anyways, let me just get back to trying to talk about her story. On the car ride to our family, she just had no energy. She drank a lot of water and she ate, but she ate like she was starving, and we know she was starving. And we actually discovered, as I was venturing down, she had a tick on her. First time I ever dealt with a tick, and it was in there. So when we brought her home and we tried to take the tick off, we used all different forms of methods that are seen to get rid of ticks, and unfortunately none of them worked. And so we ended up using kind of the method of trying to get it off using a really hot little needle, and you just like get closer and closer and you start to poke and they're supposed to release. No, it didn't release even to that. And so we ended up killing it. And so we were like, you know what? It's dead. So let's just try as close as we can to remove the head. And the head, or like the tick, was on her neck right here. And so when we tried to remove it, unfortunately, the head stayed. So it had actually burrowed very deeply into her. So I think it takes about upwards of like 5 or 6 days, 4 or 5 days, for the tick to actually be embedded inside the skin. So she might have been out there for a while. Her skin was so flaky and her ears just looked like her hair was falling off. And you are not touching that cable again, Missy. You got toys everywhere. Don't go for the cable. Puppyhood, man, it's been 12 years since I've dealt with a puppy. Ooh, fun. Thankfully, with food, like, her skin started to become less flaky. Her ears started to like grow hair back very quickly too. But then again, when you're this young, I mean, your body bounces back so quick. So that's why I say, like, if you do anything, make sure you're young, because you can bounce back a lot easier than us old folks here. There was no houses anywhere in sight. I think the last house we saw was maybe 40 miles out. Actually, that might be a little bit of an exaggeration, maybe 20 miles out. And Arizona and Utah aren't all like that. The area that you saw that we got her in, it was very barren and very less green and very sandy. And I like was sinking in that sand too when trying to rescue her. Oh my gosh, the trek was awful. My heart rate was like all the way up here. Arizona is definitely not like that. And I actually really enjoyed my time down there, despite being like one of the few very pale people to visit a very hot state where you probably expect a lot of people to be tannin. I enjoyed my time. And so when she finally got energy and she finally got food inside of her, we went to a really cool pet store, and the people there, they helped out a lot. I want to say this because this is something that I did not expect at all. But when I went in saying, hey, I am getting food and I'm also getting the spray to hopefully remove a tick. It's this good spray. The person at the counter was like, yeah, that's pretty good. And I also mentioned that I rescued a dog in the desert, and so this stuff is for her. I also said that I was actually from Washington visiting family. Over the next 2 days, I went back and visited again and again, but the second day I went back, it was a guy that was previously there that saw me but didn't really interact with me. But on the second day, he did, and his name was Nick, and I just want to give a huge shout out to him because he was so polite, so respectful, and so kind. He saw that I brought in her, and I was saying, hey, I wanted to bring her in because I want her to pick some toys out because now she's getting energy to actually want to play, because before she didn't want to play. She was constantly laying on the ground, sleeping on you. She finally started to trust us, and I'll talk a little bit more about that too. He had mentioned to me after, oh God, what was the conversation about? I guess maybe, I was talking about hamsters. That's it, because they actually had hamsters in this little town, and I was so impressed, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so weird. So I was talking about, did I say I run a rescue or I had hamsters? No, I think I said that I had hamsters because I run a rescue. I was talking to him, and he had asked me, he's like, I forgot how he like phrased it. By any chance, do you have a YouTube channel? What? Yes! I was so caught off by that. I was like, yes. And he had told me the person that waited on me yesterday, she actually watches me, and she pulled up my videos and showed everyone. This small town girl that's running a rescue in Washington State, in Arizona, being spotted in a small town by someone who watches her. That right there is so cool. Like, oh my gosh, I wish I could have talked to her. She was, I guess, a little nervous to ask me, and that's totally fine. I got stopped at a Daiso because I was in front of someone, and they said, hey, excuse me, are you Munchie by any chance? And I actually think that they mentioned that in the comments when they were watching me. I don't know if these people still watch me. That's the thing too. People can always fall out, and I haven't been making videos because of a lot of things. I guess I could talk about that in another video, but for now we're just gonna talk about this. But yeah, that was a really big surprise, and they were so kind. And I came back the third day, which was my last day, and I actually found out there was this pet store, because it's kind of a chain. It's kind of small, but kind of a chain, and it's actually in one location in Washington State. And so I'm like, I'm gonna go visit them because they had a really good pet selection of holistic pet food and some really neat toys that you don't see at Petco or PetSmart or wherever else you guys shop at, because that's just the major chain stores in my area. Anyways, they were fantastic. I have to take their survey still because I could win a $100 gift card. But, Nick was a pleasure. So if you are watching this, Nick, it was a pleasure to meet you, and hopefully I can see you again when I come back to visit in Arizona. So yeah. Anyways, and the lady that works there too that didn't introduce herself to me because she was nervous. Hopefully you're still there too. And when I come back, we should talk. Anyways, so when we brought her to my family's house, she was nervous about doors. And I recognized that immediately because when I rescued Bo, he was terrified of opening and closing doors. And I know that he was abused because his nose was actually collapsed. So he has kind of a breathing wheeze, but it doesn't impact his breathing at all. It's the whole wheeze thing of Especially when he's sleeping or it's heavy. I'm sure humidity doesn't help either. And of course, Washington, we have so much humidity. With her, we noticed that when we started taking her into the car, she was so nervous. She was whimpering. She didn't like it. And that to me just screams, you had a traumatic experience. Now, she didn't have anywhere that's broken bones, but she's very skinny still. And she is passed out. Man, I want to show you. She's passed out. I'm just going to talk like this so you can like look at my crotch for a bit, but mainly it's her. But anyways, for her, she just was not having it. And so the second day when I brought her to the pet store, she had actually pooped in the car. And that was the first time she ever pooped because we were hoping she would poop. She hadn't. She just got so scared and nervous. But the poop that she pooped was mainly hay. Because what I noticed was at the fence where I was jumping back over, there had seemed to have been some horse droppings there. And I don't know if they were fresh or not, but I'm sure she ate him because as we got home, she went straight for the litter boxes, but I actually have most of our litter boxes blocked, so she went over to the litter box. I was like, oh, nope, no poops. But that's just a dog's thing. They actually eat poop in the wild too. Anyways, I know, delicious, wonderful, great topic, Munchie. She finally pooped and pooped in the car, and we cleaned it up, and then for the next couple days, she actually pooped indoors a lot, and within just 30 seconds, she left a big long trail of poop from, I think it was the kitchen all the way into a bedroom or bathroom. I actually went to bed, so it was my partner that had stayed awake with her, and they had told me in the morning what she had done, just because she was sleeping on my partner for a bit, and so I go to bed kind of early. Well, now I don't because my schedule's messed up. I couldn't sleep during the car ride to and from at all, so I just mainly drove, and I love driving, so that was fun. But yeah, she gained her strength, and she gained trust. Oh, she just started to love on us, like, almost immediately. She was like, people, savior, food, yummy. And we slowly introduced food to her. I didn't want to give her food all at once because unfortunately you can overload their system. I didn't know if she had any internal parasites or not, but when we went on a trip over the mountain and into a national forest, we forgot to move the bag of dog food of theirs because hers was in our trailer that we were staying in. And so she ended up eating probably 5 days worth of food. And that's probably why there was a bunch of poop being trailed behind her. She ate so much food that she ballooned. She ate very well that night and thankfully didn't throw up. So everything just went out the other end. This shiny coat right here. Oh my gosh, it's improved so much. The thing with her is that we had two options. We would either leave her in Arizona with a family friend who runs a small foster-based rescue in her house, basically like me, and she finds dogs good homes. Arizona is one of the kill shelter states, I should say. So unfortunately, they have a lot of abandonment. I actually did see a dead dog on the side of the road as I was coming down. It was a blue heeler, and there was no houses in sight except for like maybe 2 miles in the distance of where the dog was found. So I felt really bad. But yeah, just hearing that is a kill shelter state, people abandon dogs all the time. They don't get them spayed or neutered. It just sucks. It really does, especially since when you just are frustrated with an animal, you just dump it. You just don't bring it to a shelter because there isn't a shelter for miles around. It was so far out, and it was just the most perfect spot to dump a dog in because it was a pullover at the Utah sign. We also, at the pet place, scanned her for a chip because the guy that I talked to, Nick, he said that he had a chip scanner, and we scanned her, nothing. So I expect her to not have any shots. I'm so mad because it's just this poor dog. If I had not stopped by, and if we didn't stop by at exact moments, I probably would have missed her. People can be cruel. They absolutely can. Or they just let their dogs wander. But to me, I do believe she was dumped. So if you guys have actually gone down to Arizona from Utah, and you're at that stop, which, oh gosh, oh, I forgot the town that I was in prior before coming down, but it's on the farthest east side. Not the west side, but the farthest east side of Utah and Arizona. So if you've been in the area, leave a comment. But yeah, so we had two options of just leaving her or bringing her back to Washington. My partner really doesn't want me to keep her. We've kind of been smitten with her, and I really love her, but I've been told I can't keep her, which that's a bummer, but I get it. So what the plan is, because we fell in love with her, and I would have been mad if we just left her down in Arizona, is I'm going to be fostering her. So she is going to officially be introduced into my rescue. in the future, because right now funds are low, and so I just have to work my way up to getting her shots. It would be good to make sure that she doesn't have any parasites. I mean, her poops are pretty solid. They don't have any worms in them. They were runny, a little bit runny at first when we first introduced food to her, but I mean, that's typical because she drank a whole bunch of water. When she gets older, we're gonna fix her. The thing is, if she is a large breed dog, which I can tell right now she is going to be, it's really not advised to get them fixed before 2 years old. So you could probably get her about like a year and a half. And for me, I can't get her fixed that soon. I've had so many complications when it comes to getting animals spayed and neutered at an early age. And it also causes hormone fluctuations, and they either grow super big or something grows super small. She is going to hopefully get fixed at a much later date. So that means that I'm probably going to be holding on to her until maybe she's around 8 months to 12 months, if my partner will let me, because I just don't want to run the risk of handing her off to someone else and having them never fix her, you know? So she will get fixed, and it will be by me. But right now we're just going to foster her. And when the time is right, we will rehome her via Munchie's Place. And so she will be listed online, even though I really want to keep her. Oh my gosh. But I also want to do a DNA test for her because I'm just really determined to figure out what she is. Look at your little teethies. So I'm just estimating, like I said, around 3 to 4 months old. She's still got her baby teeth. Her adult teeth will come in at 7 to 9 months, depending on the breed. I love her, and I named her Seraphina. I really love the name Seraphina. It means burning one, and it's also one of God's angels. So there's that. I felt like she was like a little angel. And I'm just so surprised that I found her in the desert. I still can't believe that. That was something. And of course, all my friends are like, of course you would find an animal in the desert. They're like, you're the rescue person. You're the animal person. Of course you would find an animal in need of help. And I'm just glad that I was in the right place at the right time. And I'm glad that I actually took the trip down to see family, because I've been having so many struggles right now with my own personal life that I needed a break. And thankfully, it was just a good opportunity to go and see people that I love and never have seen their home before, so that was great. I've only been out of Washington State once, and that was to Oregon, and that was only for about, I think, 4 or 5 days back in 2004. So yeah, this is my first time actually going across multiple states. You know, that was really fun. So yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. Let me just bring it back to my face. Please spay and neuter your animals. That too. And if you really can't take care of an animal, there is going to be people out there. Like there's Craigslist. You can ask a family friend if they can help you rehome the animal. Just never abandon an animal, please. And I also want to say too, if you live in an area that is just so wide and vast, make sure to have a tracker on your animal, because it's your responsibility to make sure that they are safe. Having animals is a privilege. All right? So it is a privilege. So you got to make sure you're on top of things, just like it is kind of a privilege to have a kid, because man, I don't have children, but I can't afford children right now. So that's why I have animals, because animals are cheaper than having a human baby, unfortunately. But I would love to have a child. I just can't. And I would love to adopt a child, but I just can't. Not in my current situation and the way the world works right now. I'm glad that we're taking care of her. So thanks guys so much for watching, and if you liked the video, hit like to tell the algorithm that you would like to see more from this channel, and I'll see you around in the next video that hopefully is hamster related, but I hope you enjoyed this anyways. Bye everyone!